Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Huge news today regarding Toby Emmerich, Warner Brothers. This is a big win. You probably have seen it. I had a really busy day, couldn't get a video up earlier, but I definitely wanted to post one before the end of the day because it's just a big deal. And Toby Emmerich steps down as Warner Brothers Picture Group chairman. This is a Variety article. Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi taking over studio. This is huge news. He wasn't fired, and he is still staying on the Warner Brothers lot, just in a different capacity. But this is huge because this position that he was in before gave him a lot of um, authority and decision making authority, and so it's a big deal regarding DC and the stuff that we are hoping for. So veteran film executive Toby Emmerich is exiting his post as Warner Brothers Picture Group chairman. Three sources told Variety. A company man who survived numerous WB ownership changes for over 2 decades. Emmerich's transition out of the role follows weeks of chatter that he was leaving the studio. So we have seen these kind of rumors coming about, especially because of the merger with Discovery, and so this tends to happen. We saw and Sarnoff and other people in leadership roles completely leaving Warner Brothers. I think they did. So he'll be replaced by Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi, who will be named co-chairs of Warner Brothers Picture Group. Warner Brothers Discovery did not immediately respond for a request for comment, though a formal announcement of the leadership change is expected imminently. I think I saw that earlier, probably after this statement from David Zaslav. I'll get to that. DeLuca and Abdi's oversight will also include New Line Cinema. Their influence over DC films is presently unclear. The pair recently led Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, until that company was sold to Amazon. So at MGM, the duo landed buzzy projects such as Licorice Pizza, Kyrano, I don't know what that meant, and The House of Gucci. This just kind of goes on to talk about the merger and a little bit of history on Emmerich and his position at Warner Brothers. David Zaslav, kind of switching things around. It also mentions that DeLuca and Abdi presumably have their own roster of executives that they will want to bring over. With DeLuca, Zaslav is getting a seasoned executive and producer with deep ties to the creative community. So just kind of giving a little bit of information about the people who are going to take over. Emmerich's reputation was challenged after former Warner Brothers CEO Jason Keeler, he's also out of his position, decided to release the studio's entire 2021 film slate concurrently in theaters on HBO Max. Just kind of, things that we know about that happened in the past. All right. So the Hollywood Reporter, I guess, was the exclusive. They reported on it first before Variety. Variety was just the first one I saw on Twitter. But they have more information about, the departure statement and how he's going to stay at Warner Brothers, what capacity. So Toby Emmerich, it says, who has been running Warner's and New Line since 2017, will exit that role, but received a production deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. I have a quote, "I have no doubt he will deliver even more exceptional, one-of-a-kind stories in his new capacity, and I look forward to continuing our working relationship for many years to come." That's from David Zaslav. So here this kind of talks about the new strategy that Zaslav has, shaping the company to create 3 verticals, each with its own leadership. So we're going to have Warner Brothers and New Line together in one under DeLuca and Abdi, DC and Animation, and then DC Films, President Walter Hamada, who's still one of the old regime, I guess, if you want to refer to it as that, he's still there, will report to DeLuca and Abdi until new leadership is identified. So, like I said in Variety, DeLuca and Abdi will have probably their own executives that they're going to bring to put in these other leadership roles for these verticals. And the head of animation vertical is yet to be named. So Zaslav's intention is to model Warner's after the system that former Disney CEO Bob Iger implemented at that studio, with the verticals reporting directly to him. Zaslav has talked to former Disney studio chairman Alan Horn about serving as an advisor. In designing the verticals approach for overseeing Warner Brothers Discovery's film executive structure, Zaslav consulted not only with Horn but with Iger. Okay, just to give you an example, I guess, of the kind of structure that he's looking for in terms of leadership. So sorting out DC remains a major challenge for Zaslav, no doubt about that. Sources say he has asked Todd Phillips, the multi-hyphenate who created Dark $2019 billion grosser Joker, to do more in the DC universe. I remember hearing about that a while back. I think I actually mentioned it on the channel. Potentially acting as an advisor, though he will not serve as an executive capacity, in an executive capacity. A knowledgeable source says Phillips and Zaslav have discovered a rapport, though Phillips is not an expert on the broader DC universe. While at Disney owned Marvel, Chief Creative Officer Kevin Feige oversees film, television animation, and publishing, there has been no single voice guiding DC. So, of course, we always get those comparisons because of the similarities and the universes. They're within the same genre. And people have kind of said, this is what we kind of need at DC. It makes sense to have someone kind of in charge, just to guide and oversee what's going on in the DC world, because it's one of their biggest IPs, and it's going to be again, it is one of definitely their biggest challenges. So I have to try to rehabilitate this universe, and not just the movies, but the relationship with fans. And so it's a big undertaking for sure. So that's going to probably be one of their biggest challenges with this merger. This is the statement that Zaslav, his note sent to staff today, referring to Toby Emmerich's transition, I guess you'd call it. This morning, Toby Emmerich informed his team of his decision to step down as chairman of Warner Brothers Picture Group and launch his own production company. I have known Toby for years. He's a great leader and a friend to me and to many. I'm very happy for him and even more thrilled that he has chosen to remain a part of our Warner Brothers Discovery family through this new production venture. We're also grateful to him for agreeing to stay at the helm of Warner Brothers Picture Group through a transition period this summer. So it's not just going to be immediately, they have to, still figuring all of these things out. I'm not going to read the whole statement. It's kind of just talking about, he shares that he has had discussions with Toby Emmerich and kind of figuring out the best structure, having these 3 tiers of organization, and that he appreciates his insight. It says, it was during these same discussions that Toby first shared with me his desire to start his own production company. I told him he had my absolute support. So, even though he is staying at Warner Brothers in this new production capacity, hopefully that keeps him, it should, if he's going to have his own production company. Warner Brothers, DC is under Warner Brothers, and some of them are under New Line, like Black Adam. So hopefully that keeps him far away from DC and decision making in that area, because that is where the problems came. Was a lot from him, because he decided what was going to HBO Max, what's going to theaters, what's getting greenlit, all of these things, and he can put a stop to things. He can say no to things. He can say, in his position, it's good that they're going to have co-chairs in his position, or because, and not just one person. That's it. Just having one person having all of that, decision making, seems like there should be more than one person to make those kinds of decisions, not just one person saying yes or no to all of those huge things, all of these big decisions. There should be people that kind of like, you have to have kind of a little round table or some kind of discussion. I'm sure obviously he had people to report to, people that he had to, consider things with and discuss things with, but just him having so much authority over these things, just one person being able to say yes or no, I think that's a problem. And obviously their leadership structure has not been working. So I think it's a good idea that they have co-chairs, and then they will put their own executives in place for, these 3 verticals. Hopefully this is a step in the right direction. I mean, I think it's already a step in the right direction, Toby Emmerich stepping down from this position, because they need different leadership organization just in general. Having co-chairs, I think, is better, because you have people, you can bounce things off of each other, you can discuss it, come to the best, decision, not just one person saying yes or no for all of these huge decision-making, issues. And so I know fans are happy. He should hopefully be far away from DC now, and I think that's definitely a good thing, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Walter Hamada is still there, but I think Toby Emmerich was a lot bigger. I know there's issues with Walter Hamada, but Toby Emmerich was, I think, one of the main problems. Obviously, this is causing a lot of chatter and celebration among the fans. Of course, Ray Fisher had to chime in. We definitely expect it from Ray Fisher. May we never see the likes of Toby Emmerich again. Better days are surely ahead. Onward. And of course, his signature, accountability over entertainment. So, and definitely. I mean, I'm not saying that, there's been a lot going on the past few years under Warner Brothers. And even though David Zaslav and Toby Emmerich have a long, they've gone back years in their friendship and, whatever relationship, you can't deny, even if he likes Toby Emmerich as a person or as a friend or whatever, can't deny that the leadership has not been working. There's been a lot of problems going on. And that's just what we know publicly. If there's a lot of problems that you see in the public eye, that means there's a lot more going on that we don't see. And so you can't, just because you like someone as a friend, David Zaslav now has to make business decisions, things that are best for the company, and trying to, like I said, rehabilitate this whole image and relationships with creatives, with filmmakers, with just people and actors. I mean, people who have been with them. Christopher Nolan was just like, I'm done with this. Like, he's been with them for so many years, one of the biggest directors. Rehabilitating your relationship with fans and just trying to say, like, we're just trying to fix it. It's a big undertaking that they took on. I mean, that they have inherited, I guess you would say, with this merger. And so they have a lot to do, and it's going to take time. But we have seen the changes happening very fast after the merger was complete. Since the merger's been complete, there's been a lot of changes already happening as far as leadership. And so that's where you're going to start, right? You're going to start at leadership and how you want things to be organized. And I think that so far there have been, positive things that we have seen, and definitely they need to get this organization in place, and then you can make other decisions about what they're going to move forward with as far as content and, creation. So, and I know that this has kind of like crossed over, this discussion now, finding out about this has kind of crossed over with the Johnny Depp Amber Heard, what we see there in the news, because of the verdict. They found Amber Heard guilty of this defamation. And so I know that even before there was a trial, people wanted, fans were calling for Amber Heard to be fired off of Aquaman 2. And then we found out recently that, her screen time has been chopped down to about 10 minutes. And that now with the verdict, people are definitely going to want her off of that movie, especially because Johnny Depp, got fired from his roles at Warner Brothers and as well as Disney. But, I don't cover things about that because it's, drama, but it's kind of crossed over in that discussion, both of these things coming out today. And so the fans are just, a lot to talk about, especially with new leadership coming into play. People are going to expect, maybe different decisions are going to be made, but we'll see. I don't think that they're going to come. I don't know if there's another Aquaman or Justice League ever in the future. I highly doubt that they would continue with Amber Heard, especially if they were saying that she was going to get, that the problem was her lack of chemistry with Jason Momoa. I don't, they chopped her down to 10 minutes in Aquaman 2. You would think that she'd probably have more screen time in the second movie, or just as much as we saw in the first one. But anyway, just saying that those discussions have kind of crossed over with one another. But I'm glad Toby Emmerich I don't care if he's still at Warner Brothers. If he wants to do his own production company, let him. And let him do his own thing. Maybe that's best for him. And he can stay away from DC, and he can stop, trying to... But good luck to anyone who decides to make a movie under his production company, because he's not going to let them do it. He's not going to let them do anything unless it's, James Gunn, maybe. But... yes, so kind of started rambling about this topic, but it is a big deal, and it's good news for, I think not just DC, but I think people in general at Warner Brothers that were under his, that had to work under him, because it just seemed like, people are not getting treated fairly and respectfully. And so hopefully it's a good change in a lot of respects, not just for DC. But thank you guys for watching, and check out the links in the description, any videos you may have missed recently. And don't forget to leave a thumbs up and or subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.